Hi. I am making this to speak what is on my mind at the moment. I am kind of all over the place. I'm in therapy. I am currently not speaking to people that I've known almost my entire life as friends, to do it for my sanity and theirs, because of the way things are going right now. It's not healthy for any of us, and everybody's going through a lot. The house is messed up. Well, at least most of the first floor is, and that weighs heavily on my mind and shoulders, even though my mother said to not worry about it. You know, it's hard not to worry about it, because, you know, it's my home, you know, and now it doesn't even look like my home. You know, it looks like a bombed out shelter. And I'm going through it a bit because my sister is going through it a bit. She's having frustrations with going back and forth between the family, with her husband and, you know, our immediate family and her dog Lola. And today I guess she had a really rough night and a rough morning. She ended up, you know, getting into a situation that wasn't ideal, and I'm sure everything just seemed like it was, you know, stepping on her all at once, you know. And I left her a pretty long message that I hope she can listen to, because I went back and listened to it, and it sounds pretty difficult to hear. So, because I pretty much poured my heart out into it, telling her that she needed to, well, I gave her advice. I didn't tell her she needed to do anything, but I told her to not carry the world on her shoulders. Because as a person that has done that and fallen apart over and over again, and, you know, experienced, you know, panic and anxiety and, you know, stuff like that, you know, and she's at a crucial part of her life right now. She just got married last year, and, you know, and their married life is not the typical married life. They live separate, even though they spend most of their time together, which is a little stressful on them, I'm sure. I'm sure it's more than a little. And, you know, things that are going on at our house, things are going on at her husband's house, my brother-in-law. And, you know, things are just, you know, crazy. And then she's balancing that with working 5 to 6 days a week, you know. And her job is quite stressful as well, you know, dealing with people and pets and animals and all kinds of stuff, you know. And it's not always a happy day at the office for her, you know. And with that being said, I tried to tell her that you know, from my experience of my failed marriage that ended up in you know, a divorce, the first year of the marriage that I had, I spent away. I missed birthdays, I missed holidays. You know, I was out of town working. I was making a ton of money. I was making almost $5,000 every 2 weeks. You know, and I was doing it for, you know, for us to live comfortable. You know, but I wasn't realizing that it was drawing, you know, a huge gap between me and my wife at the time. And, I don't want her to go through something similar, even though the situation's different. I mean, there is still a separation because some days she's not with him all the time, but even still, like, I just, as her brother, I know that her and my father are sometimes repulsed, or find me repulsive because of me touching things, sitting on things, the way my hands look, the way my feet look. Sometimes I forget to shower. It's just, and I understand. It's completely understandable because I don't take care of myself, and I'm trying to make habits to do better, and I get a little bit ahead, and then I fall back. The thing is, it's just like, it's hard, and I know no one ever said it was going to be easy, because no one ever said that. And Dad's always told me that sometimes I have to do things that I don't want to do, and it's true. The problem is, it just seems like I can't ever do anything that I want to do, so I just end up not wanting to do anything. If they ask me for help, I do it, and sometimes I slack off a little bit because, it's not what I want, And the problem with that is I don't know what I want. I mean, I know there are things that I want to be, but they're not realistic. I want to be a professional soccer player. I'm already too old for that. I want to be a kickboxer. That's a martial arts, so I mean, I'm not too old for that, but at the same time, it's such a far-fetched goal for me to achieve that, stuff like that. I want to play the bass guitar. I'm learning to do that. I'm practicing, and I can't afford lessons, so I'm trying to do the best that I can by ear, and it gets frustrating, and I get unmotivated sometimes because, it's like I want to learn this right away, and if it's worth doing, it's worth taking the time to do, and and I want to be a locksmith. I mean, I don't necessarily, that's not what I want my career to be or anything like that, but I want to be able to do that, so I can help people out. I mean, I can already do a fair amount of lock picking and stuff like that, but I don't have any knowledge about things that, of that trade or anything like that. I spent 14 years at a job and a career that I didn't even want to be in. I only went into it because my parents literally told me that I had no other options. I mean, they didn't tell me that, but that's how I felt, because I had just gotten into a relationship with someone that I fell in love with, and I wanted to provide for a family, and I also wanted, health benefits for me in the future and a retirement and all that. So I took the opportunity when it presented itself, and I did a fine job at it for a while, and then I became the job instead of me, and it just led to a whole bunch of disruptions, which ultimately caused me to lose, sight of who I was, and self-care, and watching my weight, and making sure that I was fit. I mean, my work ethic dropped even before I got separated with Amber, and like the difficult part of it is like, it's because I didn't want to do it. I had no satisfaction after a few years of being there. When I started doing lead shielding, I started loving that because it had like a hero complex to it. I was doing something that would protect people, and I gravitated towards that because this is what I want to do. I care about people. I'm empathetic. When I was a child, probably about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, we'd be playing hide and seek in the backyard, and we'd be playing war and stuff like that, and I always wanted to be a recon sniper. I always wanted to just hide in the bushes and watch people as they don't know that I'm there, and just, hide and seek, I was a pain in the ass because it would take 6 hours to find me, to the point where people would just give up and just not tell me they stopped looking, and I'd be sitting there for an hour after they stopped. And then I turned 17 and I actually wanted to do that. Like, I wanted to be a sniper. I wanted to be a Marine. So I talked to a recruiter, but then I talked to my mom about it, and she didn't like the idea of me joining the Marines because I could get killed, which, yeah, that could have happened. My dad was a little bit upset at my mom for discouraging me from going, but I didn't go. So I focused on sports. So I decided to play. I was already playing soccer by then, but I decided, and even then, the soccer thing, I had no discipline when it came to training and working out and staying fit. You know, it's because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, yes, I enjoyed everything that I did, but the times that I had the most fun is when I was doing things that I probably shouldn't have been doing, like sneaking around late at nights, doing foolish antics like vandalism, or going into people's houses and taking alcohol and food and stuff like that, which, if my parents ever hear this, they're probably going to kill me. But like that whole covert thing just kind of had its appeal to it, and then like I said, I wanted to be a Marine. I wasn't built for one, to be honest. I was 165 and I was 5'10", so I mean, built I was not. And then I turn 19, I graduate, and I fall in love with this girl that's not even 18, she's 15. And I don't know. It was not appropriate, the relationship that I had with Amber when she was that young. And I still beat myself up for it because I was 19 fooling around with a 15-year-old, and that's such a touchy subject with people now, and sometimes I'm disgusted with myself, but I have to let it go because it was something that I did, but I can't go back and change it. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I've been improving these past. This is the best year that I've had since 2014. Not gonna lie. I mean, I'm not where I want to be mentally, or stuff like that. But before my divorce, that was as good as it got. And this is the closest thing that I've been to in a long time since that. And sometimes that scares me a bit, because if I get better, that means it can get worse again. And I'm a guy, so I can't express my feelings to people, even though I do. But I don't express how I really feel. I just express generic, I'm depressed, this, blah, 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 I'm anxious, that, blah. I don't tell them what really bothers me. And there's things that I've done in my life that nobody knows about that, keep me up at night, And these are all the things that go through my head on a daily basis. And now I'm 5'10", 348, diabetic, sleep apnea, busted knee, bad back, psoriasis, mental health, complex PTSD. This is definitely not where I thought I would be when I was that 10-year-old running in the woods, hiding from people. Then you can't go back to that. It sucks, but That's the truth of it. I can't dwell on that. You know. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not even looking for people to feel bad. I had to sit alone and say it out loud.